Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In the last episode, I took you through how to set up a basic starting zoo in franchise mode, how to set up your first habitat, a little bit about employees, and I taught you how to start making money fast. In this episode, I want to take it a little further. I'm going to teach you how to get those guests to empty their wallets. We're going to go into staff education, work zones, beautification, staff education, and a little bit more. So let's get started. So quickly, what I want to do is just check on the animals that we have so far. So you can do that by going to the zoo tab here, clicking on animals. And this is going to show you all the animals you have, both in your exhibits and also in your trade center. So if you only want to see the animals that are in your exhibits, that are live here, able to be viewed, we want to turn trade center off. And that's just going to give us the animals that are currently here on the ground, viewed by guests. So right now, as you can see, these giant tiger land snails have already started to breed. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and pause. Like I said, they are really, really fast breeders, because now what we can do is we can go ahead and take a few of these, and I want to keep one male and one female in here still. So what I'm going to do is take them and I'm going to put them in the trade center. So now if we have extras, or if we want, we can go ahead and sell some of these. Since I only have one male, I'm going to keep that male. And I'm going to keep this female, because to me, this says that it's the best out of all the females. So I'm going to go ahead and sell these other guys. So as you can see, we can sell just 3 of these for over $600. And that's why it is great to start off with these little exhibits using animals that breed extremely fast. And in a minute, I might even throw in another little exhibit and add these guys to it too, since we have those available. So as far as the other animals, it looks like, yeah, everyone's pretty happy. So we can move on and we can start creating our next habitat for a larger animal, like we had for the red ruffled lemur, which is right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build probably a similar sized habitat over here on this side. So let's just move these trees. And I'm just going to keep it symmetrical right now. I'm going to do another small animal. So it's going to be the same, it's a fairly small habitat again. Okay, so that's the basic habitat. I went ahead and I added the one-way mirror, one-way glass, so that the people can see in, the animals cannot see out. And this is great for the small animals because they can be a little skittish, and their stress level goes up if they can see too many people checking out their junk, you know? Now again, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to add, I think what did we use last time? I'm going to add some of the basic guest stuff so I don't forget to do this when they all rush over here to see the new animal. Add one, no, I'm not going to add that over there just yet. I want trash cans. I want donation boxes. And I want some food and drink facilities. I'm also going to add a toilet over here. Let's see. I think I used that one last time. So now we have one on each side. We got a toilet there and a toilet there. Yeah, and so I think that's it for the, facility paraphernalia at this point. Yep, let's throw one of these in there. All right. So now I'm going to figure out which animal I want to use. And I want another small one, but one that is going to be kind of an interesting. Should we do Sandcat? Yeah, let's do Sandcat. All right, so they're scheduled now to be dropped off in this habitat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up their habitat with everything that they need. I'm going to go to filters, species, and I'm going to select Sandcat. And that's going to exclude anything that does not work for the Sandcat. So I'm going to start with food tray. And I tend to stick that kind of close to the window. And then I make sure to throw in a water pipe. So the difference here between the water pipe and the water bowl is that for the water bowl, one of the keepers has to come in here and continuously fill it up. So since we only have one keeper right now, I don't want to add more work for that particular keeper until we really start either educating our keepers and vets and everybody else, or hire new keepers to help with these animals, which we will do soon. So anyways, continuing with the habitat, we are going to move on to, I'm going to do just a simple shelter. Something, what is cute? With the Sandcat. I don't know. I need to get new shelters in here. I kind of like, no, it's kind of big. Okay, we'll just do this real quick. And again, once I make more money, once I start making the moolahs, I will go in here and I will change everything so it looks a bit nicer. Start really filling out these habitats. So, okay, so that's going to be their basic shelter starting off. I'm going to throw in some of this bedding. And they're tiny, so I'm going to use a small one. And just kind of put this right here in the center. Grab several of these. And there. I like to use a lot so it makes it look a little bit more natural looking, in my opinion anyways. All right, so we got that. We got their bedding. We may need. They're desert animals, so they may not need a cooler. So I'm not going to try and put anything like that in there until I can look at their stats. Now I'm going to do their food enrichment, their toys. I don't think they need climbable, and well, they may need. They do like to climb, which reminds me. Let's make sure they can't climb out of here, because they definitely can climb this wood. That's for sure. So I'm going to go to edit barrier. And I'm going to add in, is that on the right side? Oh, I need to select the entire barrier. Hold on. There we go. The entire barrier now has unclimbable walls. There we go. Keeps them in. All right, so let's start with food enrichment. These are toys that they can feed from. this is the little guy. They can just go and attack this thing and eat like little savages. Put a couple of those in. Put one of these, what is that, a dog ball? I forget what these are called, but I'm sure everybody's dog has one of these. And then regular toys just for their fun. A little rubbing bark, rubbing pad. They're kind of the same thing. Scratching trees, important for cats. Where do I want you? Where do I want you? I'll put you there. And do I want more than one? I'll see if they're fine with just that. And then a little tennis ball. Yeah, let's throw that in there. Let's put that right over here. Okay. So that is mostly, they should be perfectly happy now coming in here. So let's hit play and let's see how they're gonna like this little habitat. Here it comes. Right, boom. All right, both of them are here. Now, yep, they're pretty happy. The only thing they're not super happy about is the terrain. So I'm gonna hit pause. And go to terrain. We're gonna look at the terrain tab here. So we can see that they hate grass. And they need sand, obviously, because they're sand cats. So let's just go ahead and throw in just a ton of sand. And we're just gonna cover the whole thing with sand, get rid of pretty much everything else. And then I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna add in some of this other stuff, like a little bit of soil, a little rock, maybe a little grass. So we're going to lower the intensity, lower the size, and let's throw some rock in. Where would they want some rock? Let's put some rock. We'll put a little over there, and that's still pretty intense. Okay, that's about this. That's the lowest it can go. Okay, little rock there. A little rock over here. We'll do some by the door. And I kind of just want to make the terrain look fairly natural. If I was going to go in here and really do some detailed work, I would make the terrain, I would use some of the sculpting tools here, and so the terrain isn't fully flat. But that's for later. We'll do that later. But let's put in some soil kind of under here. I feel like this would be a high traffic area, so we would have some scuff marks. So with this, they'd be over here scratching the shit out of this tree. And little, there we go. And okay, that's good. That's good enough for now. So now if we hit play, we can see jumped right up to 100% happy. The other thing we can do to make them happy is if you go here to the animals tab and you look at, right now they're only getting grade 1 food quality. Now, if we wanted to make them even happier, we can give them grade 3. But if you're low on money, you're going to want to be careful about how many animals you throw onto this grade 3. Once we're bringing in the bucks, all the animals can be on, grade 3 quality food. It's like, okay, gourmet food. But since we're kind of watching our pennies still a little bit, I'm just going to do grade 2 right now. Kind of the middle of the road. I'm going to do this for these lemurs also, grade 2. So keep them kind of happier. I think it helps with breeding as well. I think you get better babies, the better food that they get, which makes sense. So let's see. Okay, so we are fairly done with this. Is just the very basic necessities to keep these animals happy. Now, again, we can go and throw some rocks in here. We can throw some trees in here. We can really fill it out so it looks like just a massively good habitat for these little guys. And I will do that a little bit now, but for the sake of money, I'm just going to do a little bit, and then I can do a much more detailed habitat creation video later. So we'll give him some rocks. We'll give him, let me see, there's one of these rocks that I really like. It's like a Lion King. Ah, there we go. Lion King rock. Let's get him one of these Lion King rocks. And yeah, looking pretty good. Now you can see all the peeps are coming over. I want to, you know what? I want to pause because I did forget, as I always do, to put in some of the educational boards. I'm going to throw like one of these up here. I want one on the, maybe I'll put one on the other side as well. So I'm gonna hit Control D. Oops. Control D, and I always have random rotate on when I don't want it on, and off when I do want it on. So here we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick you right there. And oh, it was already selected. And nobody wants to be reading while they're smelling trash, so I'm going to move this maybe over here a little bit. Okay. So, boom, we got our second habitat. We should start to be getting some donations here in this donation bin, which is a different color than these ones. I forgot that I changed them. Not a big deal. See, they just threw some money in there. There we go. Move you there. Okay. All right, so one of the ways that we can get people to start donating more money is through beautification. And if you want to do beautification real fast, you just throw a bunch of stuff in and around and it beautifies. You could go fast. Oh, we're about to go into nighttime. So you can go fast with beautification, or you can really take your time and make like crazy ass zoo. But for the sake of this video, we are just gonna hurry it up. I'm gonna throw some trees in. I'm gonna throw some plants in. The other thing that beautification can do for you is to lower the negative impact on guests from some of these buildings. So if you do happen to have one of these buildings that is within a guest's reach, which I have done before, and sometimes you don't even realize you've done it until guests are complaining. But if you were to maybe fill out this with plants, and I can show you, let me see if I can do it without putting even walls on this thing, on this building, which we're going to do anyways. But for now, let me just see what I can do to help with the beautification here. Oh, see? Did you see that? It moved. You can watch it. See? It's moving again. Just throwing just a bunch of stuff around your facilities is going to start shrinking this barrier for the negative impact on guests. And I've gotten it so low that it's it doesn't even extend past the building. So now this is not going to look fantastic. This is just for this is just a teaching moment to show you how fairly easy it is to lower these. There, now that is pretty low. That's not bad at all. And yeah, it's not the best looking job I've done, but quick and dirty. All right, now that it's nighttime, I'm gonna hit pause. Now that it's nighttime, we can start worrying about lights. So guests can be walking around at night and not feel like they are in need of a flashlight. So I tend to stick with this guy. Planet Zoo street lamp for $30 because it has a really nice light radius compared to some of the other lights out there. And it's not fancy, but it does the job. So what I do is I kind of go in and put it around the edges of the path. And I kind of leave a little bit of darkness in between each of them. So I think that's pretty normal when you're, walking around and there's lamps and stuff. They're not like set up like boom, 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 you know? They're spread out. Okay, once I get more stuff in on this side, I would add more along these and along these edges. For now, I'm just going to move on. Next thing I like to do with lights is I like to add this aquatic light because it's a very bright light. I like to add it to the underneath of some of these shelters, just to highlight the animals while they're sleeping or while they're hanging out underneath the shelter. And maybe underneath this rock part. Anywhere that's just a little bit too dark. And then I might also sometimes add some of these kind of here, just to light up the habitats at nighttime. Now, if you think that's an eyesore, don't do it. Do something else. There's all kinds of options. There's, you can hide lights. You can even sometimes hide lights underneath the ground. Like if you wanted to highlight the bottom of this tree. Kind of hide it underneath, and you've got like this little fakey highlight on that tree there. You can do that with rocks. You wanted for some reason the underside of this rock to be highlighted. Add a light underneath the ground. Kind of hidden out of the way. Sort of, you want to highlight this corner maybe of the habitat. There you go. That's how you can do it. Okay, so once I have all my lighting set up the way I like it, then I hit play and I let the things continue. And then just double check our finances here, ongoing expenses. Staff wages can get to be a lot, which is why we start off with as few staff as possible, and then be very careful about how fast you educate your staff. I want mine to be educated at least to 2 right now, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to select all of them. And down here is where you can mass educate everybody. And as you can see, it's going to cost us $520 for everybody. That's fine. So now that I've clicked that, you can see this star turns green, but nobody has actually been educated yet. What they're going to do is they're going to go to one of these staff rooms. I think this is, yeah, that's our staff room. They're going to go here. They're going to go in here and start to learn whatever they need to get to 2 stars. And you can go over here, and if you wanted to spend a little money on learning resources, it's going to cost you $100 per year. So an extra $100 a year, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that for now. I'm going to turn that on. They'll learn faster. So they spend less time learning, more time doing their job. And I believe this is, since it's a small staff room, I think it can only accommodate 3 staff members at a time. I forget where you find that information. Oh, here we go. So capacity is, looks like 4. I thought it was 3. It looks like it can accommodate about 4 staff members at a time, which isn't bad. Now, work zones become more important the bigger your zoo gets. Right now, the zoo is not super big, so I wouldn't have to worry about setting up a work zone. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to take you through and show you how to do that. So you can either click this button, create a new work zone, or you can go to Zoo Staff and go to this work zone tab here, and then click New Work Zone down here. Now, once you're in the work zone, change the name to whatever you want. I think we have to select. So you can click and drag to select whatever you want. Click and drag, or you can select each thing individually or unselect it individually. So to change the name of the work zone, here we go. Edit. We're going to call this entrance. Hit enter. And now we've got a full-on work zone called entrance that has both the habitats. You want to make sure that if you create a work zone, make sure you put in the proper facilities for whatever employee you're going to add to that work zone. So if you have just a mechanic work zone, you just want them working on a few exhibits, or, you know, some of these little food vending machines, you got to make sure that you add in one of the mechanic rooms, the workshop here. So if you don't have a workshop, they can't do their job. So now that we got the work zone set up, you want to add employees to the work zone, because right now nobody's working that zone. So we're going to add our keeper to the entrance work zone. We're going to add our mechanic. I'm not going to worry about anybody else. They can go wherever they want right now. Once it gets bigger, I'll worry about some of the other employees. Now, when I start to make more habitats, I'm going to want to make sure to either add those habitats to the entrance work zone or make a new work zone. And if I do make a new work zone, I will have to make sure to hire another keeper and another mechanic, because this keeper and this mechanic are only going to service the buildings that are in the work zone that we already set up. This work zone, entrance work zone, which has 2 habitats, 23 buildings total, and 1 staff room. So the keepers are only going to worry about these 2 habitats the mechanics are only going to worry about those 23 buildings. If I add anything else, they're not going to touch it. So it could break down, and if I don't have another mechanic, it's never going to get fixed. So I think that's going to just about do it for this episode. In the next episode, we'll go further into construction and building out our zoo with a lot more habitats and a lot more animals. So thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.